Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, friends, family, and other random passers-by. This is another episode playing Seas of Blood, which is quite a tricky book to win because there are many quite tough battles. There are several places you can just plain die. Um, Seems a bit tricky, or maybe it's just me. Anyway, there's something about the structure of it too that means it's a little bit harder to know which path is the best one. And but I'll keep trying, and I don't think my map is helping much because it is quite messy, as you'd expect. So I'll just get started, and I think I will actually keep my stats from last time because there are so many tough battles in this one. I don't want low stats, and I would have to reroll if they weren't good enough. I'll just keep the ones I had last time because I think those are serviceable, and you would be able to win the game with them if you otherwise didn't go too wrong. So I had a cruise strike, which is the cruise skill, of 12, cruise strength 16, my skill 11, stamina 20, luck 11, and I'll start with 20 gold. So that's a starting point. And I'll see if I can figure out how to do this right. Also got my cup of tea, which means it doesn't matter if I die or if I lose the game because I've got a cup of tea. That's all you need, really. Okay, let's get started. The wager. The city of Tak, at the northern end of the inland sea, is the greatest den of thieves, criminals, and cutthroats the civilized world has ever seen. So worse than Port Blacksand, and if you can imagine that. Every form of vice and illicit activity is not only permitted, but even encouraged in this city of scum. This, your hometown, is where your adventure begins. Of the numerous pirates drawn to Tak, you and Abdul the Butcher are recognized by all as being the kings in daring and greed. However, neither of you are particularly wealthy, as your love of gambling consumes all the riches that you bring back from your journeys against the enemy cities of Lagash, Marad, and Kish. The infamy that the two of you have bred is also the source of a great rivalry. You each try to outdo the other in increasingly dangerous but breathtakingly successful raids. Your goal? The title of King of Pirates, the sacker of cities, which is never bequeathed but only earned. One evening, while dicing against each other in one of Tak's gambling pits, somebody suggests that the two of you should have a contest to determine once and for all who is the greatest pirate. The idea appeals instantly to your audacious spirits. Yes, says Abdul, let us have a race of speed and treasure. You agree upon the terms of the contest. Each will take only one ship, and sailing from Tak on an appointed day will head for the distant isle of Nippur, which lies deep in the Great Southern Sea. The journey must be completed within 50 days, and at the end, whoever has the greatest amount of gold wins the bet. With shaking of hands all round and much toasting, the deal is sealed. Your journey is about to begin. Now turn over. On the day appointed for the beginning of the race, you take the Banshee out of the towering granite bay of Tak and into the inland sea. Abdul the Butcher's Havildar cuts quietly through the water beside you. Far to the east is the hostile but rich port of Lagash. To the west is the Sidra Desert, across which the caravan routes to the cities of Kish, Khala, and Assur run. To the south is the mountainous isle of Indraki. Will you head towards Lagash for a dangerous but daring raid against its coastal shipping? Travel to the Sidra Desert to plunder the rich western caravans, or patrol the inland sea via the isle of Indraki. Now, the first time I played this game, I went towards Enraki, and that went all right, but it does occur to me that I didn't try. I only went for a straight sort of headlong direct attack on the gates of Enraki, which is a kind of monastery, which seems a bit foolish now. Maybe I'll try again, because I remember that you actually got 85 gold and 10 slaves, and each slave is worth 10 to 20 gold, so that is quite a lot. I think I'll try that again. Might not be the best option in the beginning, but it certainly seems like a decently good one, because I think I've tried most of the other ones now. So I'm going to go towards Enraki in 76. The Banshee sails out into the inland sea. Roll 3 dice. If the result is less than your crew strength 16, yes. Add 4 days to your log. So adding 4 days. Oops. 4 days to the log. If the result is equal to, etc. Presently, you arrive off the northernmost tip of the mountainous Isle of Enraki, home of the warrior priests of Asur Sel Dablo. These fearsome holy men, armed by the gods of war and protected by the gods of stone, reside in a fortress raised on the lower slopes of the island's precipitous central snow-capped mountain. They are very rich. You have 3 options to deprive them of this wealth. A direct assault on the fortress, which is what I did the first time, gaining entry to the fortress via a deception of some kind, then pilfering what you can, or finding a way over the mountains behind the castle so as to assault the most probably lightly defended rear. And this is what I will try to do this time. So, 188. Taking most of your crew ashore, you begin exploring for a pass through the mountains behind the temple fortress. Add 2 days to your log. Okay, so now we're up to 6 days. Eventually you find a likely path and proceed up it, through forest, scrub, and finally snow. As you and your crew wend your way towards the high point of the pass, you see the unique pie shape. That's a symbol pi, not shaped like an actual cake. Shape of an Enraki shrine poised on a nearby ridge. Its redwood structure howls eerily in the wind. Would you detour to look at this shrine or continue along the path? Okay, so I'm already in a place now that I haven't mapped out. Just move my tea out of the way here. So we have shrine 359 or path 52. I don't think I'm going to look at the shrine, because if I go to the shrine, it actually is a certain kind of, has a certain holiness to it. That can't be a good thing, because I'm about to attack these people. I'm thinking I'm going to stay clear of that. So I'm going to continue along the path. Reaching the pass, you look down the further slope and spy a tower of the fortress some miles away. A sudden cry of anguish or fear flies out of a nearby steeply climbing snow-filled ravine. Taking stock, you find none of your crew is missing. The cry comes again, and even more tortured and rending. Would you sidetrack into the ravine to see what is causing the noise, or ignore it and proceed down towards the temple castle? You know what? I'm going to ignore it. I'm just going to go straight for the back of the castle now. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to ignore it. So I'll put the 30 noise. And this was shrine. I'm going to head for 111. The castle itself. So let's see what it happens. The path winds down the mountain slope, taking all of you to a rocky point overlooking the rear of the castle. You see that the walls are lowest at this point and offer the possibility of launching a surprise attack. You can also see right into the center of the castle to the enormous wooden temple that dominates the interior. Will you start the attack immediately by storming the low part of the wall, or try to confuse the defenders first by setting fire to the temple with fire arrows? Will that confuse them, though? Will they just let them know that I'm on my way? I'm going to storm the low part of the wall, so I'm going to go for that. So we have the one for 9 walled. And then there is one other one here, which is 285. No room for that on my map now, so I'm just going to put it like that. 149. Silently, you and your crew approach the rear wall of the stronghold. Then, with a rush, you all charge. Grappling irons fly, and the crew scrabbles for the parapet. You sweep over the wall and into the castle's interior. You scrabble for it? Would you be scrambling for it, though? I think there might be a typo there. So, because if you scrabble for the parapet, you suddenly stop, and you get your letters and your game board out, and then you try to spell out parapet in a Scrabble game. So yes, scramble for the parapet. I'll just put my little sort of typo it says on my map now. Okay. You sweep over the wall and into the castle's interior, taking the warrior priests completely by surprise. They still put up a bit of a fight, however. And they got strike 8, strength 10, but if you do a direct assault like I did the first time, they got a strike 11 and strength 16, and that is a huge difference. So 8, 10. So 8, 10. If you win, go to 274. Yes, 274, and that is the same as victory from the other place where you could fight them. Okay, so we got our first battle. We got 8, 10, and I've got 12, 16, or my crew has 12, 16. So I got a 4-point advantage on my rolls. 7 versus 9. Okay, so that is first hit me, or us, I suppose. 7, 6, 11, 6. Okay, so they hit me once. 8, 7, 8, 3. Okay, so that is 2 hits. My crew is dwindling. 5 and 4, 9 and 10. Okay, so that is victory. Okay, so crew strength now is 12, and let's see, what do we get? 274. I know what I'm getting because I've been through that paragraph before. With the defeat of the priests, your over-exuberant crew set fire to the temple part of the castle. The blaze destroys most of the booty that you might have claimed as victors. I suppose that is all right, because otherwise you just get this and you go off to Newport and that's you won. So add more excitement. Oh. That would have been too easy, wouldn't it? Okay, so we get 85 gold pieces. So we're up to 105, and 10 slaves. Searching around, however, you managed to find 85 gold pieces and 10 surviving priests to sell as slaves. Add these to your booty. You return triumphant to the Banshee and set sail down the coast of Enraki. Turn to 123. Okay, so we are now, just to try to keep track of where I am, we are now here. Okay. The Banshee is sailing just off the southernmost tip of Enraki. Apart from this island, the horizon is clear, with neither ships nor clouds visible. The main trade routes between Kish and the eastern rim lie to the south, between Enraki and the shoals of Trista. You could patrol this stretch in search of rich merchantmen, or if your crew have suffered casualties, you could sail to the neutral city of Assur to recruit some more men. Alternatively, if you're feeling lucky, you could try your fortune in the gambling pits of Kala, or proceed to the eastern rim for a bit of coastal raiding. Now, what was I thinking? Maybe because there was another thing, wasn't there? If I went to Assur, I was told about a shrine maybe, and where I could get something worth 105 gold. So I'm going to go there. So I'm going to go to Asur. 171. Okay. You head for the neutral city of Asur. Or Asur, possibly. I don't know. Asur sounds better. I don't know. I'll go with Asur. The Banshee ploughing steadily through the still waters of the inland sea. Roll 3 dice. Okay, so we got our crew strength test for navigation purposes. And I rolled 12, which means I take the longer of the time. So that is 6 days. So I am up to 12 days now. If the result is equal to or greater than your crew strength at 6 days, if your log is an odd number, no it's not. If it's an even number, turn to 3, 5, 7. So 3, 5, 7. Okay. That means I have to fight because I've done that before. When you are only a day's sailing from Asur, your lookout spots a speck on the horizon ahead. It grows into a sail and then a ship, sharp prow and triangular canvas, bearing down on you with speed. A battle banner flutters from the mainmast. It is a Kishian warship. You pull about and attempt to evade, but the cutter has the wind and speed to bring it alongside the Banshee. Grappling irons and arrows fly, troops ready to board. You will have to fight. Okay, so we've got I am at 12, and they have 10, 8. So that is not a very convincing lead for me as the battle starts. So I've got a 2-point advantage on my rolls, and let's see. So they rolled 7, we rolled 12. Okay, it's an auspicious start, maybe. 9 and 9. Yep, good. 6 and 5. Yep. 3 and 5, and that went really well. So, if you want to escape, no, I don't want to escape, of course. Too late now, I won. If you fight on and defeat the warship, turn to 22. Okay, so we are turning to. So I was there, 22. The Kishian Marines are defeated and the warship set afire. Boarding and searching the enemy vessel, you discover a chest in the master's quarters which contains 27 gold pieces. So we now have 132 gold pieces, which sounds pretty good to me. From the survivors among the Marines, you find 3 fine specimens for the slave markets of the Eastern Rim. So we've got 13 slaves. You scuttle the warship and continue towards Asur. Turn to 376. Okay. Oh, got 376 twice there. Let's see. So 376. The journey to Asur is uneventful. Well, not really, because I already had events on the journey. The problem is this is also the same paragraph you get to if your log is odd. So slight continuity error, I would say. There should have been an extra paragraph there. It should have said the rest of your journey to Asur is uneventful. The horizon remains clear of ships and foul weather until your arrival at the city. You disembark and head straight for the central market area to look for some sailors to recruit as pirates. Test your luck. So we got luck 11 and I rolled 5. Okay, so we are lucky. And go to 283. A day's ferocious bargaining in the markets leaves you with a conviction that most willing and able-bodied men are unattracted by the razzle-dazzle of the piratical way of life. Yeah, well, what do you know? However, by a stroke of good fortune, you come across a slave dealer who is drastically overstocked with captured pirates made slaves, and who is willing to part with them for a song. For every 10 gold pieces spent, you will be able to recover 1 point of crew strength. So I've only got 12 crew strength, but was there anywhere else I could get crew strength? Not anywhere nearby, as far as I can tell. So, I will buy 4 points of crew strength, so I get back up to 16. So I'm down to 98 gold, but I'm back up to 16 crew strength. Oh, yes. This slave dealer also let slip a casual remark about a wealthy shrine built some miles up the main river, which flows to the side of a soul. Having restocked your crew, you could make a small excursion upriver to check the place out and possibly seize some of its riches. And that's what I will do, because that's worked fine before. So, 335. Okay, so here we are. Heading inland, you seek out the rumored shrine. Add 3 days to your log, so now day 15. I don't know if you can run out of time, but I presume it is possible. I can only presume it is. Okay. Eventually you find it, nestled in a cozy dell and surrounded by vegetation. Its stonework is monolithic, rising 40 or 50 feet into the air and lavishly decorated with human skeletons and tortured poses. Sounds like a nice place. Some god of peace, presumably. Your crew refuses to approach any closer than bowshot range. Laughing at their superstitious cowardice, you proceed towards the structure alone and climb the high stairs to the entrance with forced nonchalance. Nonchalance, not nonchalance. That's a bit of a sort of assimilation there when the sh in the middle became the sh at the end as well. Nonchalance. Inside, the atmosphere is dark and oppressive, but at least devoid of life. Before you is a wide, straight corridor and a very steep and narrow set of stairs heading down into the bowels of the shrine. Which will you take? The corridor or the stairs? Now, where was I? Before, I've always been doing the... Before I did the stairs, didn't I? What about the corridor? I wonder. So... Didn't I make a note of this somewhere? Right. If you go on the stairs, there's a battle there. There's an asterisk too. I can't remember what that is. But maybe I should try the corridor. I'll try the corridor. Oh. That's a bit scary. Okay, so the corridor leads you into a small antechamber occupied by a weird-looking cleric. The creature has a roughly humanoid body, but the head and legs of some twisted bird. It hisses when it sees you, rattles a few of its sacred talismans, and then attacks with a swing of its ebony staff. You fight it. Whenever the creature hits you during the battle, roll 1 die. If the result is 1 or 2, deduct damage from your stamina as normal. If the result is 3 or 4, deduct 1 point from your skill. If the result is 5 or 6, deduct 1 point from your luck. That could go really bad, actually. Right. Now this is probably a good time to save my game, so I'm going to save my game now, just in case. And so here we are. Orc mute, it's called. So orc ... 8 and asterisk special rules. Okay, so we have 1120 is my skill and stamina. I suppose, yeah. It's got 8. Okay, so I've got a 3-point advantage on my rolls. And hopefully it won't hit me, so I'll lose skill. That would be absolutely disastrous. So 3 and 8. Okay, so I get the first hit. That's good. He rolls a 9. I roll 5. So that means he hits me. And I roll a die and I lose 1 skill point. So now I've got 10, 20. He rolls 12. I roll 7, so he hits me again, and I roll 1, which means stamina damage. He rolls 11. I roll 10. Okay, so I hit him. That's good. He rolls 9. I roll 12. Good. He rolls 3, and I roll 2. Okay, so that's But I lost the skill point. That's a bit rubbish. Okay. So I defeat it and go to 125. So my skill is now 10. Having defeated the orc mute, you may take its staff. From now on, whenever you fight an opponent and score a hit, roll 1 die. If the result is 1 or 2, then deduct 1 point from your opponent's skill. Huh. If the result is 3, 4, 5, or 6, then deduct damage from the opponent's stamina as normal. That is interesting. I must remember I have that. So I've got a orc mute staff, and then it's 1 to 2 skill. Minus. Of course, I suppose it will only be when I'm fighting someone individually, because a lot of the time you're fighting as a crew, and that wouldn't be the case in that case. Right, the antechamber has 2 exits. One is a simple corridor, and the other is what appears to be a chimney with rough hand grips cut in it. We'll take the corridor or climb up the chimney. Okay, so I suppose... Didn't I go through the chimney before at some point? Right, I'm gonna go to the, let's see, 1, 2, 5. So chimney or corridor 173. Right, I'm going to do the corridor, maybe 173, corridor. The corridor leads into a deep gloom, but ahead you can make out the dim shape of a door. Test your luck. So luck 6, so that is lucky. I tested luck once before, didn't I? I forgot to remove that from my character sheet. I've got 9 left now. So I'm lucky and I go to 289. And that's this one here, isn't it? So that is... Okay, so I've been there. The door opens into a large, heavily buttressed hall, of which the centerpiece is a small, hideous statue raised on a low obsidian pillar. Standing on either side of this idol are 2 acolytes garbed in the traditional crocodile skins of the servants of the Lords of Decay. They take a menacing pace forward and draw long dirks from their thigh scabbards. Blasphemer, says one, we shall hasten your journey to the land of perpetual sleep. If they attack, you will fight them one at a time. Okay, so I've got 10, 20, no, hang on, 10, 18. But I've got the staff, I must remember that now. So I've got fighting 8, 6, and 7, 6, one at a time. So the first one I got a 2 skill point advantage. He rolls 6, I roll 9. And then I roll for what kind of damage I do. Roll a 6, so that's stamina damage. He rolls 10, I roll 8, so that's a draw. He rolls 6, I roll 3, so he hits me. He rolls 3, I roll 4, and then I roll a 5, which means he takes stamina damage again. He rolls 12, I roll 9, okay, so he hits me. He rolls 5, I roll 8, and he takes skill damage. I would actually not as good as if he'd taken stamina damage there, because then he would have died, wouldn't he? But he rolls a 6, I roll an 8, and he takes skill damage again, so he's got 6 skill now. He rolls 10, I roll 12, and he is dead. Yeah. So not always great, but I suppose against a strong opponent it would be very useful. Maybe I'll just make a house rule that I sort of choose when I use the staff, because I still have a sword. Anyway. Right, next one, 3 skill point advantage. He rolls 7, I roll 5. He takes normal damage. 9, 5, he hits me. 5, 7, and he takes normal damage. And 5, 8, he takes skill damage. See, again, I could have beaten him now. 5, 9, he is dead. Okay. So, I defeat him and I go to 388. Check what email I got there. That was the ding sound there. Let's see. Oop. Probably nothing interesting. Nope, just some Black Friday deals. Black Friday, of course, the Friday this week. Today is Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. In 3 days' time, it's Black Friday. As I'm recording this. Do you have any plans to buy anything on Black Friday? I think that I probably wouldn't or won't or shouldn't for different reasons. So I think I've got lots of stuff already. I think I've probably got too much stuff. Anyway, I'll keep an open mind and I'll have a look. But I probably should save my money. Although money is meant to be spent, not saved. But it's nice to save money so you can spend money on something special, I guess. Anyway, right, 388. Almost digressing there. Okay. Having defeated the acolytes, you approach the statue, an ugly depiction of one of the Lords of Decay. Stylized carrion hang from its toothed beak, and several of its numerous insectoid limbs are shown rending various creatures to death. Its beady eyes seem to penetrate straight through you. Looking closer, you see that the idol has a huge ruby cut in the shape of a forked tongue. Inside its gaping maw, will you reach in to grab the jewel, or try to lift the statue from its pedestal to carry it outside to your waiting men? That is indeed what I'll do, because I know that works. So I'm going to go to 228. A statue is easily raised from its pedestal, and while being heavy, presents no real difficulties as you carry it outside, down the stairs and into the arms of your waiting crew. Returning to Asur, you will sell the idol for 105 gold pieces. So I now got 203 gold. Leaving the ruby for the lucky new owner to recover. On the Banshee again, will you go raiding south down the western seaboard, or sail southeast into the inland sea in search of merchantmen? Right, so where did I go last time? So we are at 228, and we either go down to let's see, 45, or to 318. Where is 318? There. Must be a bit careful with the days though, because I'm sort of going in a circle there. Because if I go there, I'm sort of going back a little bit, I think. Let's have a look at the map now. So, so I've been... So I went to Enraki, and I went around the island to get to the back of the castle. Then I went to Asur, and I went upriver and back down again. And if I go down into the inland sea now, that's where I would have been if I hadn't gone to Asur. I still haven't gone down the western seaboard before. That's a new one on me, towards Kirkuk. Have gone east again, so I know what's happening there. A few luck tests there. My luck is really going down fast. I'm just wondering whether I should try something new again and actually go down the... But where did I sell the slaves? No, that was the... was that Marad? Where was the where do you sell the slaves? I can't remember where you're selling your slaves now. Is that somewhere you always get to? Right, I will try something new. So I will go to, because I haven't tried it before, I'm going to go down the south along the western coast. Oh, somebody's notification on my screen there. Get away. Right, so where was I? I was at 228 and I wanted to go to 45. Right, so here we are. The Banshee sails down the coast. Roll 3 dice. So, and I roll 7, which is less than crew strength, which means I add 5 days to my logs. I'm on day 20. You arrive just offshore from Mount Martu Amurru, a giant forest-covered peak that towers over the small fishing town of Kirkuk. Will you take your cutthroats ashore and try to frighten the townspeople into handing over most of their gold? Continue sailing down the coast towards the hostile city of Kish, or sail out into the inland sea to raid the shipping lanes around the shoals of Trista? I don't know. I'm sort of a bit worried about getting pressed for time as well now. So whether or not I should continue sailing. But should I go to Kish or should I go to the shoals of Trista? Tough choices, these ones. So I think maybe I should just feels a bit risky. You know what? Well, I'll go towards Kish. Actually, I think I'll try Kish. Oh, I'm really going to run out of time at this pace. Roll 3 dice. So we roll 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's still below my crew strength of 16. But adds another 5 days to my log, so I'm at 25. It was 50 days we had, wasn't it? So, as you approach the city of Kish, numerous sightings of heavily armed but sluggish war galleys on the horizon impress upon you the foolishness of a raid on the city. Instead, you steer towards the Kish Isthmus, a wide peninsula of land protected by sheer and broken cliffs. These cliffs deter large-scale invasions into the rich lands beyond, but a small force, such as you and your crew, might be able to scale them to conduct a lightning raid inland. Dropping anchor when you reach the isthmus, you take your crew on the long and dangerous climb up the cliffs. Roll 2 dice. That's a skill check. Now, where am I now? I have to... Oh, I haven't done any mapping now. So let's see, there's something there, and then there's something there. 2, 2, 3. I'm not going to go back now. So I'm going to do it like that. And then we have test skill. And with 2 possible outcomes, of course. 2, 6, 3 is success. And 242 is fail. Okay. So 6, that is a successful skill test. Interestingly, of course, in this book, which isn't always a given, skill test means you have to roll less than your skill, whereas in many other books it's equal to or less. The nice thing about rolling less than means that a 12 skill is always a failure, which is a good thing. It should be possible to fail these skill tests, I think. So, so I successfully tested my skill and go to 263. And still I've got some tea left. You reach the top of the cliffs and look across the wide tablelands of the Kish Isthmus, dotted with fields, settlements, and forests. A few miles away is a small town. Will you approach this via the cover of a nearby forest or by a stealthy march through the wide cornfields that lie between the cliffs and the town? Cornfields or forest? Well, they have to make it so tricky. Cornfields or forest? I wonder. Cornfields or forest? Cornfields. I'm going to go with cornfields. So 328. Flitting like dark pack wolves through the high golden ears of corn, you advance towards the Kishian town. Test your luck. 6, yeah, that means I'm still lucky. And I'm lucky, and I go to 47. I've tested my luck quite a bit now, so I don't know whether you get any luck back here. That would be nice. When you reach the outskirts of the Kishian town, you see that there are no regular soldiers of any kind. Having lined your men up under cover, you give the order to charge. With a mighty roar, they sweep forward into the unprepared settlement, the town militia giving only piecemeal resistance. That's quite nice. So we have 12, 16. We're actually at full strength, our crew, and they have 6, 10. So we've got a 6-point advantage, which is pretty good. They roll 5, 12, 5, 5. They're down to 6, 3, 11, 4, 4, 5, 2, and finally, perhaps, they roll 10 and I roll 11. So very good rolling. Well done, dice. Right. I win and I go to 80. So that's 6, 10, 10. There we are. And go to 80. With the militia defeated and most of the townsfolk fled into the neighbouring countryside, you proceed straight to the local courts to seize the public assets. Is that where they are? In the local courts. Marching boldly through the chaotic mess that your men have made of the building's interior, you come to the vaults whose locks your pirates have just crowbarred free. When you open the massive iron doors, the ferocious black Sith orb lunges out and attacks. A Sith orb? Is this something from Star Wars? You fight this terrible beast alone. Oh, so that's just me then. Okay, so 10, 10. Okay, so we have to fight. So I've got skill 10, stamina 18. And he's got 10, 10. So that is quite a tough battle, but hopefully I'll be able to lose some skill now because I'm using my Orkmute staff. So he rolls 7, I roll a 6. Not a good start. He rolls a 6, I roll a 5. Oh dear. He rolls a 2, I roll a 7, and then I roll 4. Okay, and he does stamina damage. Would have been nice with skill damage there. 9 and 9, draw. 6 and 10, okay, and he gets skill damage. That's good. So I've now got 1 skill point advantage on him. He rolls 5, I roll 7. And he takes another skill point damage. So he's now got 8, 8. I've got 2 advantage. He rolls 7, I roll 4. That's still a hit on me though. He rolls 6, I roll 5, but that's a hit now. And he takes stamina damage. He rolls 10, I roll 10. That's me hitting him. He takes normal damage. He rolls 11, I roll 10. So still me hitting him, and he takes normal damage. And finally, perhaps, he rolls 11, I roll 11. And he takes skill damage, so he's got 7, 2. He rolls 8, I roll 5, that's a draw. He rolls 6, I roll 8. And he takes stamina damage and is dead. Even though sometimes the battles take a bit longer with that stuff, that was, yeah, I would have been in a little bit more trouble if I hadn't had it there. Okay. So, I defeat the Sith Orb, and I go to 97. Stepping past the body of the orb, you enter the vault. Does an orb have a body? I suppose, yeah. Where you find 130 gold pieces. Is that it? And a vault. 333. Will you let your men continue with the sacking of the town, albeit a hasty retreat to the Banshee? Well, it did say that there weren't many soldiers there. I'm wondering, are they somewhere else and are they coming back? So I'm going to retreat to the Banshee, and I'm going to go to 113. So, there we are. Returning to the Banshee, will you set sail east to take the Channel of Goth into the Southern Sea, or enter this ocean via the Rock? So, this is where I'm going to over here. So it's 27, or 246. Where's 246? Do I have 246 here? I wonder. Surely I must do. No, Channel of Goth. Which was Channel of Goth again? Let's have a look now. Well, that's on the eastern coast. That's quite far away then. And I'm here. Maybe I want to go past the rock so I don't take too long to get past. So I'm going to go past the rock. Okay. So I'm going to go to 27. And 2 days to your log. Day 27, so we're halfway there now. The rock is an island formed by a single enormous mountain jutting out of the ocean. Its peak is almost continually shrouded in cloud, while the lower slopes are covered with dense forests. It is named after a species of gigantic bird which sometimes uses the higher slopes for nesting. Test your luck. And I presume if you don't do your luck roll there, you will meet a rock. So, test luck. Did we do this one last time? Yeah, we did, didn't we? 4, yeah, I'm still lucky, even though my luck is now only 7. Okay, so, and I go to 67. Oh, I still meet a rock. So if you're unlucky there, what do you actually meet? I'm a bit curious now. Just have to check. Ah, you meet a stronger rock. Okay. So it's between a rock and a rock. Right. So while you're sailing past the island, the ship suddenly falls into a very dark. Hang on. Ah, yes. If you fail your luck roll, you meet a rock, but you have to fight it yourself rather than the crew. That's the difference. Okay. Looking up, you see an enormous bird, somewhat like a buzzard, only several hundred times bigger. It circles above the Banshee a couple of times and descends in a steep dive to attack. Your crew take up weapons to defend themselves. So, another battle. There's been a lot of battles here. So I've got 12, 16 as my crew, and this one has 10, 4. Only 4 actually. It doesn't take much to defeat it then. Oh, famous last words. So I've got a 2-point advantage on my strike. He rolls 4, I roll 11, so that's a good start. 8 and 7, and that's it. Rock and roll. 117. The bird crashes into the ocean and sinks from sight. Will you land on the island, turn to 49, or continue on your way through the straits and into the southern sea? Did I go on to land last time? Did I find anything? Not really. So I probably should continue on my way into the southern sea and turn to 15. Which I don't have here anywhere, do I? 15. Can't see it anywhere. So I am going to 15. Once in the southern sea, will you travel to Shurupak to sell any slaves you might have and to recruit more crew? I suppose that's where I should be going then. Head into the Great Kish Delta and travel upstream to the Dead City. Sail through the center of the southern sea, aiming for Nippur. I'm going to go to Shurupak because I need to sell my slaves. So that is 301. Do I have 301 anywhere on my map? I wonder. It's so convoluted now because it's not geographical, of course. Now this is, I mean, if I had a bigger piece of paper and yeah, I don't know, it would have been ideal, but maybe I'll do that one day. Do something a little bit differently. I would have to write bigger as well so you can see it, though. But it might be easier to structure. I definitely should space out my maps a bit more than I do. Anyway, so 301 to go to Shurupak. So we have, let's move that up here. 301 Shurupak. So 301. Shurupak is a large, fair city with sympathetic views towards inland sea's pirates, who therefore only attack Shurupak's main rivals. Useful, isn't it? Roll 3 dice. So crew strength test, and we got the lower one again, so that's 5 days to our log. We're now on day 32, so I shouldn't be lingering too much, I think. Upon your arrival in Shurupak, will you sell your slaves first or hire more crew? Well, I don't need to hire crew, so I'm going to sell my slaves. So that means I'm going to 349. 349, sell slaves. Taking a few crewmen and all of your slaves, you head for the markets. The scene is hectic. A recent battle between Shurupak and Marad has resulted in hundreds of Maradian prisoners being taken, and most of them have been brought here to be sold as slaves. As a consequence, competition is very high and prices are low. I suppose that also means that hiring crew would have been cheaper. Will you entrust the business of selling your slaves to an agent or conduct the transactions yourself? That's okay. Interesting choice. Agent or yourself? 260 new. Would he be better at getting a good price? But then again, he would charge a commission, wouldn't he? So, that's the question, isn't it? Haven't I been here before, though? I keep feeling I have been here before. I just need to see if I can find it on my map. Because if I have, then I should know what to do. This is one of the things when I haven't been, because I've had quite big gaps between each time I've played this. I've sort of forgotten a little bit as well about where I was and what I'd done. But I can't seem to see anything about that. Or this just the residual memory from when I've been playing it 30 years ago. I don't know. It just feels familiar now. Whether to sell your slaves yourself or through an agent, it just sounds like I've heard that before. But I don't know if I actually have heard it before. Right. I suppose if I do it myself, it's going to be down to luck, isn't it? My luck is currently 7. I'll hire an agent for it. I'm not going to save my game as well, just in case that's going to double cross me or something. After a few inquiries and a bit of haggling, you find a slave trader willing to sell your slaves for you. Test your luck. Okay, so there's a luck there as well. Luck. 6, yeah, I'm still lucky actually. I'm lucky and I go to 137. 137. Lucky. The man you chose to sell your slaves for you is an extremely skilled salesman. Even though business is bad and most of your slaves are sickening from the long voyage, he manages to fetch an average price of 12 gold pieces for each slave. That sounds good to me. Anything more than 10, I think, is good. So I've got 13 slaves. Excuse me. Times 12, so that is 130 plus 26. And 156, which means 89, 489. So I've got 489 gold and no more slaves. 489 gold. That's the most I've ever had in this game, by the way. So 12 gold per slave. Okay, and then go to 279. Okay, so I think that went okay. If you haven't already, you can try to hire more crew. Otherwise, you return to the Banshee and leave Shurupak. Turn to 238. So 238. Hoisting sail and weighing anchor and sipping tea. That didn't say in the book, by the way. You head out of Shurupak's port and into the southern sea, where you sail along the coast and then to the Three Sisters, or head for the open sea and speed towards Nippur. Now, there was a question that I was wondering about, because last time when I was heading in that direction, there seemed to be an issue with food. So maybe it's an idea to head for the Three Sisters first. Now, this is something that should be on my map down here. 167. There we are. That's 167. Oh, hang on. Oh, this is where it is. Ah, I had been there before. Okay, so this is so 349, 301. Okay, so 15 also leads to 301. Let's just update my map a little bit. See, I need to practice writing nicer maps. So so slaves 349, agent or yourself, and if you have an agent and you test. Okay, so if you do it yourself, you're actually rolling 1d6, and if you have an agent, you're testing your luck. And then it's lucky 137, and then it's 12 gold pieces. And then you go to 279, and now down here on certainly were a few places you could end up in trouble on the Three Sisters. So let's see, what does it say? 116. I'll just check my map a little bit there because I can't see understand what I've been writing. Right, I'm going to go to the Three Sisters because I think maybe you do need the food to get to Nippur. It would be a shame to die of hunger at the last hurdle. So the Banshee cuts through the southern sea towards the Three Sisters. Roll 3 dice, so that's the crew strength test again. And I roll, less than crew strength again, which means we add 4 days to our log, so that's 36 now. As you approach the 3 islands, you see they are grouped together quite closely. The nearest island is low and looks fertile, with neatly tended orchards and small villages of thatched huts. The next island is actually an extinct volcano, its cone rising thousands of feet into the air while the lower slopes are heavily timbered. The other island is, like the first, quite low, but is dominated by palms and sand. Which will you land on? So, last time I went with... now, the one that led me to go towards the end is the one with the palms, it looks like. So, and I'll see I've taken some sort of dots around that. Presumably, I think that's what I meant was that's the best place to go, maybe. So I'm going to go to the palm-covered island, 354. Heaving to a short distance from the shore, you disembark with most of your crew. The beach is wide and sandy, but the interior consists of clumps of coconut palms. Will you head along the beach or inland? And I've made a note that the beach is a good place to go, so I'm going to go with the beach. There's the battle there, but it looks like that. Okay. You have travelled only a short distance when a giant crayfish scuttles out of the sea and up the beach, intent on grabbing one of your crew as a tasty snack. Being about 20 foot long, armed with 5-foot claws and protected by thick skin. Yeah, did I mention this last time? Crayfish do not have skin. They have skeletons on the outside. They have exoskeletons. It's a skeleton. It's not a skin. Anyway. It is a formidable foe. Your crew defend themselves. Right, so another battle. There's quite a list of them now. I can't see my camera on my screen. I have to make sure everything is in shot. Yes, that's good. Okay, so 1216 still. That's my crew strike and crew strength. And then it's 9-8 for the crayfish. So I got a 3-point advantage. Yes. 9 and 4. Okay, so first hit to the crayfish. 5, 8. 8, 10. Yep. Looking good. 7 and 8. And the crayfish is almost 8 and 4. Okay, so that is hitting me again. 6 and 4. Okay, so there we are. I won over the crayfish, and I think we actually take the crayfish for food, if I remember correctly. So I win and I go to 116. And as I said, the giant crayfish will certainly satisfy all of your food requirements. And with the discovery of a freshwater stream a short distance away, all of your provisioning needs are fulfilled. And I think this is why you have to actually go to the Three Sisters here. Returning to the Banshee, you leave the Three Sisters on the last leg of the journey to Nippur. Turn to 7. And this is soon where I ended up failing at the last hurdle because of that blasted bag of wind, literally, that I picked up last time. Which seemed like a good idea at the time, but it turned out to actually cause me to lose the game. Roll 3 dice. Okay, so that's... so 9 plus 4, 13. That is still less than crew strength, isn't it? Oh, hang on. No, that's more than crew strength, actually. I saved my game just now, by the way, just in case. So, so that means I'm going to equal to or greater than my crew strength. Yes, I'm going to 356. Yeah, so I'm definitely saving my game there because I've got so far now. I'm not going to let it end there, but um, so basically at this point, you could actually lose just by rolling the wrong number. And this is the highest I've ever rolled for crew strength, and that is a storm blows up out of the south, making the going difficult. When the weather clears, you find that you are unsure of your position. You continue towards where you expected Nippur to be, but somehow manage not to find it. Hopelessly lost, you pass the target day for arrival and thus lose the bet. Your adventure is over. So I did save the game, of course, so this is the end. This is the end. Okay, so let's imagine that I'd made that roll. And I go to 387. I'm not going to do the whole thing over again now because I'm so close to the end, and I think I should be able to make it now, hopefully. A storm blows up out of the south, making the going difficult. Your crew, however, are equal to the task of keeping the Banshee on course. When the weather clears, you see your destination, the Isle of Nippur, on the horizon. Were you given earlier in this adventure 2 bags by the King of the Four Winds? If so, turn to 299. If not, turn to 32. So I'm going to go to 32. The Banshee sails into the only large bay that Nippur boasts. Your crew are overjoyed that the journey is over. Roll 3 dice. That's the crew strength test again. And so that's 4 days. We're now on day 40. There we are. Abdul the Butcher's Havildar is already moored in the bay. The few members of his crew left on board inform me that Abdul has gone inland to the rendezvous point on the peak of Nippur's single mountain. If your log exceeds 50 days, turn to 342. Well, I've got 40 days. I actually got 10 days to spare, so I could have raided 10 more days worth of gold, though. So does that mean I won't have enough? I'll find out. Okay, so we have not okay. So we have test crew strength, and that is 4 or 5, and then we have obviously if your log is more than 50, you've lost. So that's 342, 50 plus, 51 plus actually, no, plus 50, or 213, and that is less than 50. Okay. So 213, less than 50 days. Disembarking with a few of your crew and all of your treasure, you head inland towards the central peak of Nippur. Halfway up the mountain, you come to a high wall which seems to completely encircle the interior of the island. You follow the wall around until you come to a break, flanked by 2 enormous stone statues. These statues have their arms raised. I didn't know there were going to be more stuff going on now, but obviously there's we're not done yet. These statues have their arms raised in the air, supporting a large beam which spans the gap between them. From the beam hang the bodies of several sailors, twisting slowly in the wind. A short, wizened creature, dressed in loose black robes, appears and says, "So, you have come to see the mountain. One of you will have to fight the keeper if you want to see the mountain." It cackles and adopts an expectant pose. Will you agree to fight the keeper, or just ignore the threat and head straight through the break in the wall? Okay. So, 298, 389. So, go on. Fight. I suppose it sort of makes sense to fight usually because usually worse things happen if you don't. So, "Step this way," says the aged creature, showing you to a trapdoor at the base of one of the statues. "You must go down there. If you return, you may pass through to the mountain." You open the trapdoor and climb down into the darkness. When you reach the bottom, you see that you are in a dimly lit cavern occupied by a Cyclops. This large, one-eyed humanoid tears your sheathed sword from you and casts it into a niche high up in the cavern wall. Now it says we will fight. You will have to fight it using unarmed combat. Write down the number 311 on a sheet of paper. Okay. This is where you should turn to if you defeat the monster in the ensuing combat, i.e. as soon as its stamina reaches 0. Also note that its stamina is 16. Okay, so 16. Okay, so 16. Now decide on your opening attack. So we're suddenly going full martial arts. So we can take a flying kick at its chest, punch it in the shoulder, or jump in close and elbow it in the ribs. Right. Not what I expected at all, really. But I've saved my game, obviously, at this point or just before, so I can, because I don't want to do the whole beginning over again the same way to get here. So if this fails, I will have to start over from the point I get to Nippur and then see how we get to the end. Yes. So, excuse me. I need some water, I think. Jump in close and elbow it in the ribs. I'm going to try that. Okay, so I'm going to do another page for this, since it's a bit somehow. Okay, it's a little bit unusual. So 298, and that is the so the Cyclops. So we got 3 options. It's like rock, paper, scissors or something. 206, 91, or 29. So I'm going to go to 29. Jumping forward, you deliver a swift elbow into the Cyclops' ribs, causing it to double over. Deduct 2 points from its stamina. So C star -2. Okay, so it's down to 14. As it leans over, it delivers a backhanded slap to your head, sending you reeling to the ground. Lose 2 stamina points. Okay, so stamina -2 as well. Okay, so that probably wasn't the best choice there. The Cyclops recovers first, grabs you by the arm and lifts you into the air. Well, you kick it in the shoulder, kick it in the armpit, backhand it in the elbow. Elbow. Okay, so we do 1. So 1, 4, 5, 305, 2, 5, 1. I'm just writing down the numbers now. I don't need to do the details, so I'm going to go with 1, 4, 5. You twist and deliver the blow as sharply as you can to the Cyclops' elbow. Deduct 2 points from its stamina. 12. So CSTR -2, but also stamina -2. With a gasp, it drops you to the ground where you land heavily, lose 2 points of stamina. Crawling on all fours, you scuttle behind it. Will you elbow it in the spine, elbow it in the back of the knee, punch it in the kidneys? So we've got 1, 3, 2, 46, or 3, 4, 7. Spine, 1, 3, 2. Go with spine. Stepping in close, you throw your arm against the monster's back without any visible effect. The Cyclops spins about, kicking with its leg as it does so. The blow strikes you on the shoulder, lose 1 stamina point. Okay, so stamina -1. That's not a good one. And I am currently down to... let's see, I had 18. -2, -2, -1. So I've got 13. I'll just put that here as well. So right now the Cyclops has 12 and I've got 13. So C star, I'll just put that there on my map as well. We can't see that. I'm just It's right at the bottom of my map there now. I'll put my something in the way, so I can't really show it to you. Okay, so I'll put my stats down there at the bottom for this battle. Okay, so you grasp the Cyclops' leg and give it a sideways twist, sending the creature crashing to the ground. Will you jump up and down on its back, kick it in the ribs, shoulder it in the head? Head, 82 maybe. Okay, let's see. Let's got 3 options up there. 361, 266, 82. So head, going for the head. As the Cyclops tries to heave itself back to its feet, you run up and shoulder it in the face. Unfortunately, it sees you coming and bites you in the arm. Okay. The monster regains its feet and launches into a crouched attack, intending to catch you in its arms. Will you take a flying kick at its midriff? So basically, I think it does get 3 different options every round now, and there's 1 bad one, 1 good one, and 1 in the middle, probably. 63, 19, 290. Midriff, legs, heads. Legs, 319. Legs, go with legs. Not good again. When you leap at the Cyclops, it dodges easily to one side and swipe. So that's stamina -1 again. Swipes you with an open-handed blow to the head as you fly past. Lose 1 point of stamina, so I'm only got 11 points now. As you land, the monster grabs you by the ankle and lifts you into the air while you're hanging upside down. Will you give it an uppercut to the groin, punch it in the stomach, or knee it in the chest? I suppose it's all a bit sort of random, isn't it? 177, 139, 122. We'll go with the groin then. And let's see, -1 stamina again. It's not going well. I'm not going to read out all the things happening because it's I'm just going to do the I presume that all these rounds are identical, really. Should do 9. Some of these, did we get any of the options that are the same as before? I don't think so. Maybe we should just pick one at random because, yeah, that's the middle one, 337, because it seems very random. There's no logic to what you choose. Again, -1 stamina. Is this possible to win this? 276. It feels like a sort of a meta game now, and it's a bit sort of somehow. Again, I'll just roll for which one I'm picking. Middle one again, 187. Did I write that right? Let's double check now because oh, this was actually -1 from its stamina. Okay, so I am getting somewhere, and 187 is also the correct one. -1 from, okay. So rolling the dice and picking a random one seems to work. Okay, so we got 1. So it seems that the option is you lose 1 stamina point, it loses 1 stamina point, or you both lose 2. 1, 3, 2, 3, 8, 4. Okay, so again, I'm going to roll. I'm going to go with the last one. So that's both 2. So 8, 7. 196. Is this the half the book? This battle is a lot of paragraphs. Again, I'm going to roll randomly. I'm going to go with 196. Oh, it gets -2. Okay, so that is very good. I'm going to go with the first option again. Sorry if I'm not reading these out. I just sort of... that looks good again, so it gets -2. As a Cyclops grabs you, you let fly a swift punch into its single large eye. Deduct 2 points from its stamina. Screaming in pain, the monster lifts you into the air by one of your legs, hanging upside down. Will you punch it in the stomach? So we got a 139, 372, 2, 3, 5. Are ever any of these the same? Yes, they are, actually. We've had 139 before. We got 372 before. That is interesting. Some of these options are the same. That is interesting, because then I can actually know which moves work or not. Right, so right now there's no option that I know for sure is going to work. I know that I've had some of these options before. If I try 139, is -2 each, -2 each. Okay. So then these ones here. Okay, and here I did like so. Okay. So 139, and then I've got the option between 18, 29, or 206. Have I done any of those before? I had these two as options before. But I know that when I had 18, 29 and something else before, the best option was the third one. So maybe if I go with 206, which is also an option in the first one, although maybe that is the best one. Yes. So 18, let's see, so 18, 29, 206. 206 is also -2, and that is enough to kill it. Okay, so actually that was because you can actually learn from the correct ones and the mistakes, that actually becomes a little bit more interesting. So when these repeat, you can actually pick the better ones. That means 206 in the beginning here is actually the best option to start with. But I managed to get it down to 0 stamina now. I've got 5 stamina left myself. Not 11, 5. And that was quite a battle. Okay, so I'm going to 311 because I've defeated it now. The Cyclops drops to the ground, unconscious. Victorious, you climb back up the ladder and through the trapdoor to face the wizened old creature who sent you down in the first place. He cackles when you appear and then ushers you through the gap in the wall, indicating the path you must take to reach the summit of Nippur's mountain. Turn to 36. So we got 311, 311, and then we go to 36. Okay, so now I know quite a bit more how that battle works. It will be easier next time. When you reach the summit, you find Abdul the butcher and a few of his men waiting for you. Ah, he says, when you appear, you made it. Now let us see which is the greater rascal. He drags an enormous chest forward. I sacked Kish, he boasts, and even captured a Marad war galley. The treasure is here to prove it. He opens his coffer, inviting you to do the same with yours. To work out whether you have more than Abdul, round the amount of gold you have down to the nearest 100. For instance, if you have 387, round this figure down to 300. When you have done this, divide the rounded figure by 2. The result is a number that you should turn to. Okay, so I have 489, which means I've got 400, and I round it, divide it by 2, which means I'll go to paragraph 200. But it says the result is number that you should turn to. If the number you should turn to is more than 400, then turn to 400. Does it mean you need 800 gold? 800 gold to win? Huh. Yeah, let's see what happens on 200 then. 200, turn to 50. Come now, says Abdul, looking at your markedly smaller pile of gold. It was hardly even a contest, and you call yourself a pirate. You have been hopelessly trounced. Abdul is, without a doubt, the greater pirate. You have lost the wager. So you need more than 800 gold to win the game. So, and I had 10 more days, which means next time I need to find 211 gold in 10 days. Right, but I've learned a lot this time. I know a lot more of what works and what doesn't. I know how this battle with the Cyclops works a lot better, and I would be able to ace that next time, but that's not the tricky bit. The tricky bit is what else I have to do to get 800 gold. But I'm getting closer now. I feel like finally I'm getting close to getting to the right place to end this game in the best possible way. So next time I'll try again, and I'm feeling quite optimistic about that. I should be able to win it next time, surely. Although a lot of luck is actually required because there were so many battles, so much fighting, lots of luck rolls, and I was lucky almost the entire time today. I did die once technically because I missed a crew strength roll, but otherwise it was a good playthrough, I think, and I did rather well, but 489 gold is not enough. So there you go. Now finally I know how much I actually have to get, so that helps perhaps. Right, so thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Join me on Patreon if you want to support my channel and what I do creatively on YouTube or elsewhere. And I will see you again next time with more danger on the high seas or the inland sea as we venture into the seas of blood again for I don't know what number of times now. Is it how many times have I played it? 4th. Is next time the 5th? I don't know. I've lost count now because it's been a week since last time, I think, and before that I think there was a few weeks as well. So in any case, I'm actually starting to enjoy this a little bit more now, because for a while I felt like I was grasping around blindly and I wasn't sure what to do, but now I feel a little bit more like I have a sense of purpose because I sort of know what I have to achieve to win it, which helps. And even though my map is messy, maybe I should try to tidy it up a little bit. I'm sort of starting to get to it. I did take some shortcuts today because I was afraid of running out of time. So next time I'll maybe go some other ways and see if I can cover more ground and therefore potentially make more money. So thanks for watching and goodbye for now. Bye bye. I'll see you soon.